Welcome. Sit back, relax, and let your day go. It's time for another chapter of Nitrous, our favorite midlife crisis superhero. If you think you have problems, you have no idea. The scanners started going off incessantly. Nitrous jumped up and shot across the room. This was it. This was what he'd been waiting for. It had to be. He leaned closer to the scanners using his subsonic hearing. He was trying his best to split sounds of shouting into some distinguishable series of words. Closing his eyes, he tried to concentrate on the subtleties, seeking any possible clue that might emanate. These were his personal scanners and covered a small swath of the Tri-City area. They had cost him a small fortune on credit, but as he saw it, they were a necessity. His wife, Trish, saw it differently. After receiving credit card statements, she would continuously bitch up a storm.
Well, fuck, Nitrous.
Oh, come on. Really, Trish?
What the hell?
Then again,
why
Trish
don't you go get a super real job?
was always bitching.
Holy shit, Trish!
We can't afford this shit.
Back in the day, it was easy to please Trish. Just a little flex of his rock-hard body, and she was his. In all ways, too. He could do anything to her back then, and he did it all, multiple times.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh yeah, oh, right there, right there, right there, right there, oh yeah, oh my god,
Who didn't want to fuck a superhero?
So, yeah, I know that was amazing.
It was well known, especially during that time. Everyone wanted to fuck a superhero. For Nitrous, it was like being a kid in a candy store. Trish just happened to be one of those rare candies you taste that made all the rest
Well,
seem
look
a
at
little
you.
too
Aren't
bitter.
you handsome?
She was exquisite.
You looking for a good time?
If you know what I mean. After a single taste, Nitrous was hooked like a crackhead. He couldn't look at any other candy, so to speak, without craving Trish. So he gave up the rest. She seemed just as hooked on him, so the next step only seemed
I
natural.
do.
Hell yeah, I do.
Marriage. 2 kids later, and the glow of his superpower started to fade. Now, she
Holy
hated
shit.
anything super, especially him.
Damn it, Nitrous.
Trish was always claiming she just wanted normal. Plain, non-super, everyday, fucking normal. And she wanted it bad. She made it obvious. She even started hitting on the most typical men in front of Nitrous.
Do you always
Anyway,
deliver pizza
just as
like
long as they
that?
weren't super in any
Do
way.
you want to give it to
She had
me?
begun to build a fan base in the Tri-City area bigger than his, and he was a goddamn superhero.
What's up, girl?
Yo, damn girl, how which in turn
Hi, boys.
was the root to their problems. And
Find me on Instagram.
what kept her continuously
Nitrous is
bitching.
a retard.
Trish definitely wasn't happy about the scanners, and couldn't understand why a superhero would need them in the first place. But they were an absolute necessity. Nitrous had to be one step ahead. Not to catch the bad guys. That was the easy part. It was to stay one step ahead of the commissioner. She had been shutting him down on all the big shit, and he still couldn't figure out why. He leaned closer towards the scanners. He was listening for that one giveaway, that one piece of information that could help him decipher a location. Static. Shouting. Static again. The sound of a burner phone going off with a text message alert. Wait, that's my phone. Nitrous jumped up across the room to retrieve his phone. He looked at the screen and read the message. It was short, only 2 words with an exclamation point for effect. Stay put. What the fuck, really? Nitrous knew superheroes shouldn't cuss, but damn, he was tired of the roadblocks. Not this time, Commissioner. Not this time. He had to get to that scene no matter what. He couldn't let a stupid text message stop him. Whatever the hell was going on, it sounded big. It had to be for the commissioner to send him that stupid-ass text. He focused back on his private scanners with all his determination, but still couldn't find any clues. Another scanner squealed to life from across the room. It was the actual police scanner. Nitrous had found out long ago that by the time the true police scanner broke in, he was generally behind the game.
We have a 1072 at Mayberry in Maine.
That was all he needed to hear. I better make this quick then. If I time it right, I should be able to get there ahead of the pack. He was confident, even with the news over the scanner, he could get to the location first. Grabbing his polyester costume and throwing it on in a hurry, he crossed the room for the most important part of his disguise. Now, one might typically think of a mask or a cape, and although those are generally custom when one purchased an incredibly tailored superhero outfit, that was not what Nitrous was after. He was needing his codpiece of fear. You see, everyone needed something recognizable to the public to separate them from the pack, so people knew who was coming to save the fucking day. That was the most important part of the costume. And for Nitrous, all he had to do was show up, flash a quick profile to the crowd, and all of the Tri-City area knew it was him.
Hey, who is that?
It was his trademark, so to speak.
It's Nitrous!
Holy shit, run!
He knew it not only became his identifier, but it also struck fear in criminals everywhere. How could it not with duo-stream red pinstripes and so many spikes of chrome? Now that Nitrous was ready to face the 1072, he took his flying leap out of the attic window. Slowly, he drifted to the driveway and right beside the second cost expenditure Trish liked to continuously bitch about. A 1968 Shelby Mustang GT 500. Another one of Nitrous's absolute necessities. See, the skill Nitrous showed in the flying department tended to keep him grounded. It wasn't that he couldn't fly. Actually, to be quite honest, he was amazing at it. He had all the right super senses needed. The acute sense of touch needed to detect minute shifting air currents across one's body. The specific muscular control needed to make adjustments so one could catch and ride all those currents. As well as the super focus and strength one needed to take off or even land. It was all there, except one. His radar was broken. He had absolutely no sense of direction. Things got extremely confusing to Nitrous when you added another axis. Everything looked different from above, and Nitrous tended to get lost easily for some reason. Add that to the laundry list of other problems one faced in the air, such as crosswinds, updrafts, the speeding torpedoes of death people like to call birds.
Holy shit, where did that come from?
And it could get complicated quickly. Keeping your focus on the ground left you vulnerable to the elements in the air, and focusing on the elements always left Nitrous lost when he looked back at the ground. He would often choose a random direction out of desperation, typically removing himself from all the action. Nitrous was an expert at getting himself lost when he was flying. He excelled at it. In fact, several times during his younger gung-ho days, he had to flag down taxis just to get back to the scene after trying to fly.
Quick, follow that missile and step on it.
It was
Too
embarrassing.
dangerous.
Come on, I need to get back to the action.
To avoid the total
you want action? I
humiliation
think
of
you
getting
know.
lost
Honey
and
pot,
showing up
nighttime
late in a
massage.
taxi, Nitrous stuck to his trusty GT 500. It was a beautiful cherry red, white racing stripes, and a hell of a lot of chrome. Plus, it matched his codpiece of fear. He knew he looked extra fucking awesome when he busted onto a scene. You could also program the GPS navigator to avoid getting lost, as long as you didn't get any of that rerouting bullshit it was notoriously infamous for. It was an overall good setup, at least for Nitrous. And an even better look than flying in. You sounded tough as you arrived, so people knew you meant freaking business. Nitrous jumped in and plugged the coordinates into the GPS. He spun his wheels down the driveway, as all good superheroes do when they speed away to save the freaking day. But he had to make a quick choice. He overshot the GPS. It was still saying,
In 50 feet, take a.
but he was at the end of the drive already. He decided to pull the wheel to the right and drifted onto the street ready to drop the hammer.
Rerouting.
Fuck!
Rerouting.
Nitrous hit the hammer anyway and sped off in the wrong direction. The GPS would just have to catch up to him. He had been in a rerouting hell before and didn't want to get into that shit again. It was idiotic. First few times he had the rerouting signal, he turned the car around thinking that would fix it.
Rerouting.
I mean, it's logical to think that if you were going in the wrong direction, you just turned around, right?
Holy shit.
Not with that fucking sinister devil of a machine.
Jesus Christ, you're making
Oh, hell no.
Jesus.
Every time you turned around, you just got another rerouting signal. It had Nitrous going in circles, like a damn hamster in a
Where the
wheel.
fuck am I supposed to go? Holy shit. Jesus Christ.
He finally caught on to the basics of the GPS after surfing on the internet. He wanted to see if he was the only one with the problem. He wasn't. Someone had posted a solution. Thank God, too. Or he might have been caught in that living hell forever. They said if you take a wrong turn, you shouldn't change your direction, but rather let the GPS catch up and reroute with new directions. Then, simply follow the new directions. It made sense. So, Nitrous applied the new method relentlessly and had managed to build a trust and faith with his GPS. He drove like hell and always let it catch up.
In 500 feet, make a left onto Piedmont Drive.
Back in business. Nitrous headed down the street towards Piedmont and the 1072. He knew he lost some time, but hoped his trusty GT could make it up. So Skidding around the corner and ending his perfect drift in the right-hand lane, Nitrous let his foot sink to the floor and the car shot down the road like a rocket. Will Lana continue to shut Nitrous down on crime? Will Nitrous be able to get to the 1072 before the police? Or will he be playing catch-up? What the hell is a 1072? Join us next time to find out the answers on another episode of Nitrous, everybody's favorite midlife crisis superhero. If you think you have problems, you have no idea.